Crypto market is heavily volatile. This asset yesterday was close to 230, and all of a sudden, in an hour, it dropped directly $10. It came down to 220. Now again, it's trying to push lower, but there's a secret to this. You just actually watch or observe the 1 hour chart, step by step, yeah? Keep this easy, cool. When did the price started dropping like crazy? See that? Did the price give you a clue already before it started happening? It kind of did. Good. Now, go back in time and see if that's true all the time. So you're picking this one up, you're dropping it there. It seems like it. Yeah, the drop from 238 all the way down to 192 looks similar. Now, how do you see if it's going to continue or not? How do you know if it's going to keep dropping or it's going to go back up? Yeah, good. Now, stay with me on this. Yeah, you put a 1 hour chart, you see, okay, that's going down. Anyway, I'm going to have some downside. Maybe for a few hours, maybe for a couple of days. How do you know whether it's a couple of days? Yeah, from 1 hour chart, you go on to 2 hour chart. You're like, okay, the 2 hour actually entered there too and stayed there while the price was going down. But it showed sometimes I'm going back up. Oh no, I cheat you. I'm going back up. I'm cheating you. No. What's the better way? You put that on a 4 hour chart and see whether that was smooth. Meaning we only want to know two things. When the price is above this thing, that's overbought, it's still gonna go up. When the price is below this, it's gonna go down, down, down. That's it. Cool? Now, on a 4 hour basis, it was smooth. Yani you actually entered September 22nd, you entered to the downside, and you only went back up on 26th September. So 4 days. It was completely downside, and the price dropped after the confirmation. We'll take this, yeah? You got somewhere around 15% to the downside. Cool. Now, are we going to do the exact same thing, break to the downside? I'm not sure. You still have another 40-45 minutes for the 4 hour candle close and the next candle when we enter there. Are we going to enter into this territory? I'm not sure. We'll have to follow. But if it does, this is the history. Zoom out. See, last time we know this happened. What happened before that? If I put a line here before that and go into that, how can I zoom in? How can I get precise things? Same, you go back to a 2 hour. When did the 2 hour enter there? Almost at the same time. Cool. I go to a hourly. I want to see when did that happen. It already entered at this point, suggesting I'm going lower. The momentum is to the downside. But in here, that coincided with 2 hour, 4 hour. So most likely you're going to short somewhere here. And then from that region, the price actually dropped 10%. So that's not a small drop. Yeah. Because when you're on a zoomed in, shorter horizon chart, that's a big deal. You're watching things closely. Good. Now, is this pullback just because of alts wanting to go down? Or is this something which is inflicted by Bitcoin in itself? Bitcoin chart suggests, yes, it did. All that Bitcoin did was breaking this thing, and then it started dropping. Okay, cool. Now, is Bitcoin actually going to go down to this region? Not sure. But you want to see 1 hour. It barely entered that and bounced off. And like alts, it didn't actually stay there. On a 2 hour, it didn't enter that zone. So alts do not have the strength which Bitcoin has right now. Which means, obviously, you go into the Bitcoin dominant side of the equation. You're picking that one up. You're like, okay, that's still bouncing. That's consolidating and bouncing. Okay. You go on a 4 hour chart. It's still like, okay, I'm trying to push back higher. Good. Now, pick individual assets. Like a lot of people would still like to look at this. And I'm like, okay, this is XRP. It's good. Watch. It didn't break to the upside. It attempted many times, which is actually good. That bulls are not giving up. And that's one fact for XRP holders. Like, we don't want to give up. But the fact that if we go back in to this same market, you see the same pattern in the history, and you don't learn from that. That's the trouble for the XRP holders. I've been through this, yeah? I've done that last time. This was the last market cycle where we had the exact same pattern. I bought back in here expecting a bounce. And then all of a sudden the Terra Luna, blue, FTX, blah, blah, blah. We came back to lower that. That really was not a good time. Now you see this triangle, you're doing this, yeah? We wanted this, but it broke to the downside. Cool. Now watch what we are doing in here. If we break to the upside, cool. But what if we break to the downside? At least this time around, you have an immediate support somewhere around $2. Good. At least 2. Yeah. But if Bitcoin actually continues dropping, Bitcoin doesn't even have to go to this region right now. At this moment, Bitcoin only have to come back down to the region like 110. If it comes below 110, boom, also nuked. Now, why am I saying that? Each time Bitcoin follows a trend line and give that up, it's bad. And if it's doing the A, B, C, it's very bad. Alts are going to get flushed. Now, people would argue, no, we have a big bull market coming in. How dare you say we are taking huge resistance and going down? Maybe it's a micro drop. Okay, let's check that too as a possibility. Yeah, why wouldn't we? We're going on to a weekly chart. We are watching this. The RSI is still there. It's not breaking through the upside. So it still has some room. I agree with those bulls saying, okay, there is some more room. I agree. But my question is, again, the same. The upside versus the downside. You take logical decisions, yeah? Now pick up Ether. It's still there. It's still there, yeah? From last 5 years, it's still there. Now, one benefit for Ether as of now is the fact that it's holding on. Good. 1. 2. This is the formation. So if it actually gives that thing up, yeah, it's bad. But if you plot that trend line, being conservative, touching all of these supports as it is, you reach somewhere here. And we can argue the fact that this was a fake out to the downside. Historically, when you have a fake out to the downside, you break to the upside. So I'm like, okay, are we going to do that? Because the wave structure, the wave form has 2. One is 1, 2, 3, or you have the A, B, C. Then you go for the 1, 2, 3. Which one is it going to be? That decision factor is happening in here. The moment you get the confirmation, like you're going down below the 70, say 65 below, on a weekly, that's a red flag. Honestly, that's a red flag. Say you want to look at multiple different factors. Say you go to USDT dominance. People would like to look at that. I'm like, good. It's all good. Think about this drop. We talked about it last time when we argued this point. Yeah. If it breaks to the upside, this is what we are watching. But then, with the history of the asset, you can honestly zoom out. There is no way you are stuck to a short-term chart. You're looking at last decade. What do you understand? It's going down, 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 down. From when? 2021. Yeah? And look at the strength. Does that strength already argue the fact that this was happening? 1. 2. Now this is the trouble. It's starting to take a micro support and it has some room to bounce. Now how much? This is just the RSI side of the equation saying I have around 70% to go back up. So let me ask you this. If people are going more into stable coins, are they pulling money out of the bank to buy more crypto? Or are they selling crypto and going to stable coins? What is it based on the current economy? Do you think they have disposable income to put it into crypto more and more and more? Or are you thinking they're moving out of crypto and putting into the dollar terms? Like, these are very important questions which you'll have to answer. Yeah. Now, how do you understand that? You go basically into crypto. You want to actually see if the crypto is actually going up and people would like to buy it. Now, there are other tools which you can actually use. Honestly, I agree. You go to Google Trends, you're watching this. Is that at the sky high? No, let's zoom in. Let's actually go into the last 30 days. This is what's happening. It's kind of volatile. It's not going up. It's not going down. It's just ranging. So if you pick last quarter, it's slowing down. It's not increasing. I mean, we would like to see that going up, but it's not. Say we are all XRP maxis, or at least I used to be. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. Yeah. Now, on a long horizon, if you'd say, okay, I want to watch last 1 year, this is what's there. You don't have the hype in the market. You're not watching that. Now, trouble is people do not consider what happened before. Do you see that? Okay. It's easy this way. You can put a custom time range, and inside that custom time range, you want to make sure you go back. You go back to what? Let's pick 2016 all the way up, all the way up to 2023. Yeah? Why that? I'll actually tell. There's the only way you can actually look at it and say, okay, see, we had that thing going up and then the price dropped. Okay. So how did the price actually go up? We didn't see anything. Yeah, good. Now, that's where you ask the question to yourself and come back down, reducing that to see 2021. So the last 2 market cycles where the price went up, it happened like this. Okay. It was very small, 2017, where the price went up like nuts. You saw that. 2021, this is what happened. You had the 1, the 2, the 3. Good. Now, how can I actually remove 2021 and then pick up till this point? Yeah? This is exactly what happened. Think about it. You actually got that pop here, the 1, the 2, the 3 that fell short. Now, do I like it? I don't. Honestly, don't. But should I have to care about that? I think we have to. Yeah. Say you want to pick Ether, it's Ether. Now, you can check all the individual assets as you want. It's completely up to you. But then you also should not forget that whenever this happened, that was the top. For some weird reason, that's the top. You're not getting the follow through because there's no new individuals coming into the market arguing that's going to go parabolic, arguing it has a lot more to the upside. Rather, you can, you don't want micro, it's okay, you don't want micro, but you can just check. Say you're picking this up. What are you watching? It's still below that 35 mark. On an hourly chart, it just shows you I'm going down. You put a 2 hour, you don't want to check every hour. Good. That's still this. Now, in 30 minutes time, you're going to get a 4 hour candle close. Eventually, if you actually enter here on a 4 hour, you know what we have seen. Now, the biggest drops, the huge capitulations, they happen when you enter there on a 12 hour or a daily. We have seen those, yeah? Now, by that time, if you're waiting for it, you miss what? Not bad, just a 40% drop. If you're all in for that, you get what? Next 40% drop, or maybe 45% drop. That's still good, but the waiting period is too long. Yeah? So the initial 40% was missed, but was signaled to you by the 4 hour already. So you can basically follow that because the daily showed I'm crossing back to the upside on MACD. And if it's immediately crossing back to the downside, it's saying, I got you. Now, why am I saying that? Because the 3-day cross to the downside and the retest and a failure, that direction is where you're going. Get? Now, the market is going to be volatile. I don't care what others say, but all that I can say is there were people telling you to buy XRP. It's about to go to $5, $10, $20. And right now I'm getting screenshots and clips again saying, oh, see, they're going out of the market heavily. They're going into the stable coins. And I'm like, yeah, I was early, just like all the cycles. I was a little bit early. But the factors which we talked about, they're still valid. Negative divergence, that's still valid. Did they trap a lot more people in here? I know personally individuals buying at $3 and above, saying it's going to go to $5, Danny. You're not getting this. I'm like, maybe I'm completely wrong. I'm off on this. Good. But my trouble, I still say this so that you know if I'm wrong. If the weekly candle is telling me that this formed, that's a higher high, while the RSI dropped this much. Now, question is how much? First to the next. That's a drop of 22.92% in the RSI. Now, I want to take you back to the scenario here. Yeah. The RSI dropped how much in this case? That was just 10% drop in the RSI from one local peak to the next one. You know what happened after that. Get? Now, this time around, it's 22% drop in the RSI. You got that, right? So, prepare yourself. Understand what the market is showing you. And that's going to play in your favor.